All right. So, I'm gonna share this off to a few more places, and then I'm gonna go ahead and man, how do I want to say this? I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it. So, give me a second. I'm gonna go ahead and actually share this out a little bit more. I wonder if it's on here. Hold on. Do I have this on here? If I do, that's great. All right, if you're watching right now, give me a second. I'm doing some things right now. Guess I can drop it off here too as soon as this loads. I'm gonna actually talk about some things that have been going on in the past few days, and I want to discuss like where I see a lot of problems coming in at and why I'm experiencing a lot of problems. I know exactly what's going on, but I want everybody to like keep in mind I'm at a new I'm at a new chapter in my life. So if there's going to be times in your life where you're going to move on to a new part of your life and people aren't going to like it very much, but that's part of what everything is all about. Okay, so um there's been a lot of drama the past few days. There's been a lot of drama in the past week with me in general. I don't know why this is coming about, and I don't know what I really don't understand why people are coming at me so like negatively or abruptly or like angrily. Let's just put it that way. But it's because I came to the conclusion it's because I'm trying to move on in my own life. So when you do something new or you try to move on in your life and you try to, you tend to, how do I want to put this? You tend to start a new chapter of your life. There are people that won't like that. There are people that will come after you over that. And the biggest problem is those people that want to ruin you, ruin your reputation, everything like that. Those people are not going to be a part of your future. That's the thing you have to remember. The people that are going to be a part of your future are the ones who kind of just they enjoy what you're doing and they have a lot of respect for you. And they also, you know, you surround yourself by the lifestyle that you want. That's the one thing I've always learned in life is like as soon as you get the lifestyle, as soon as you start doing something, you really, really want that lifestyle, you're gonna engulf yourself surrounding. That's weird. It's a weird effect. But you're gonna engulf yourself with people surrounding you in that particular kind of setting. So, example, me doing what I'm doing, I'm trying to get into music. Okay, and as I'm doing everything, you guys can see, I know how to sing, okay? But as I'm doing it all, it's just going to show me more and more that people will always try to, you know, you'll get a lot of drama before you get into the part where you are on to your next chapter. So as 2025 comes to a close for myself, I'm closing a chapter that's been one of the most hardest chapters to close. Not individually wise. I'm still going to try to remain friends with certain people, but I'm closing the chapter on on politics. I'm closing the chapter that needed to be closed for a while. Politics was never a place I should have been involved in. Okay, and as 2025 comes to a close, and 2026 sets in, I have a lot of big plans for myself. And it's all going to start with me buying an instrument. That's how I'm going to start the year off if I can. And I need people to start understanding. I was never planning on staying in politics. There were people doing things politically that I'm like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? And they were taking their political persona or the persona they have online and utilizing it as a manner of, I'm going to bring everybody into this political community, make everybody political, and then every time I talk about games, I'm going to hear about Trump. I'm going to hear about Biden. I'm going to hear about everything else that was mentioned politically within the past few years, and I'm like, this is turning into too much of a political gaming thing, So I had to set myself apart from it all, and it's one of the most hardest things because once you start to separate the two, you know, how do they say? You come to a Y in a road, and one side will lead you one way, the other side will lead you to the other. I am going one way that I'm going the opposite way than what I used to. I used to take one route, and it was always like, well, I'm gonna go over here, try to endure what these people are doing and try to make the best of it. And it would always, always, always upset me, always piss me off, always bring me down, always ruin how I feel about stuff. And it gets to a point, somebody gave me another Chromebook and I'm like trying to update it. So bear with me. Oh, this one's an older model, so I'm gonna look at it and see what I can do with it. So, but yeah, I've always been I've always been kind of anti-political. And the reason I've always been anti-political is because of the fact that politics in general is not a fun thing to be doing. Like, who the hell wakes up every morning and says, "I want to talk about what's going on that Trump did last night"? I know Trump did something last night. It was all over the fucking place. Point I'm trying to make is that it's not, we're not supposed to be like making that into a hobby. And unfortunately, people do make this into hobbies. It's one of the least likely hobbies for anybody to have, but a lot of people tend to have it. It's one of those things that like people get so wrapped up in it and they don't understand they don't understand where they're going wrong. And that's where I had to separate myself. I still know people in the political sphere, but I'm not trying to really get engulfed in any of that anymore because every time I do, it always led me to be really, really angry at some point. Hence why yesterday, my following dropped down by 20 followers yesterday on X. And I sat there and I was like, they're really going to go after my followers because I'm trying to move on to a different part of my life, and the people that are still a part of what I'm doing that have been there for a little while, they're always going to stay there because they don't have a problem with what I'm doing. It's the people in the political sphere that have a problem and always want to push that onto everybody. So I think I can actually put a dash in there, can I? So I'm creating a new email address because I don't want to attach everything that I'm doing on my other laptop onto this one. I want this one to be separate from what I'm doing over here. Oh, that worked. Okay. So yeah, in case you've been realizing, I've been really listening to music lately, really inspired. and just getting back to my roots and what I was doing like probably about 20 years ago, I want to say. And you're gonna see me change. I'm going to admit there's gonna be changes you're gonna see. You're gonna be like, this guy looks totally different. This guy's gonna be different. And that's the thing, is it's all about an art. So the thing I really didn't like about what a lot of like, hold on a second. That should work. All right, and do I have to? Damn it, I do. So Google wants you to put a phone number for like your new account, which I think is ridiculous. But yes, I have officially decided to pull myself out of politics and move on to better things. Something that's going to help me really, really just take it easy compared to like what I take it easy compared to what I was doing. Like politics will get the better of you, and and it'll always like be your worst. It'll sometimes be your worst enemy. Like people, you get mad at people for no reason at all sometimes, and I'd rather waste my energy on using that for something much differently than what I'm utilizing it for. And part of it is that I'm starting to see why I liked music so much back in the day. I really am right now. I'm seeing how I've just been wasting my time doing stuff on things and getting involved in stuff that uh hold on a second. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, I really upset a lot of people though because a lot of people don't realize like just because you're doing something in your sphere, in your fear, and your domain of what you've been doing online all along doesn't mean I want to be involved, right? I don't want to be involved at all. And I really wish people would get their head out their asses. Get started. All right, I'm gonna see how this operates. That looks way different than okay, so this is a really, really I wonder how far back I wonder how old this operating system is. All right, so now that this is all set up, I can use this for other stuff. I don't think there's much of a difference between the two. Yeah, there's really not. It's pretty much all the same. It's just this one here. I can look at it, and it took a lot of stuff off my bottom bar, and it's in dark mode. So that's the one difference. Let me see if I can change this to dark mode. Yeah, somebody gave me a Chromebook recently. I'm like updating it, and there we go. That's better. Yeah, dark mode is always nicer on your Chromebook because it just genuinely makes the Chromebook look a lot more sleeker for some reason. The desktop itself is interesting. I find it weird you can't add apps onto the like main screen, which I look at it and I'm like, okay, that's kind of strange. You can't do that. But it was also on a PC. a bigger space for you to put your apps up there and stuff like that. So, but anyway, back to what I was talking about. So, yes, it's been decided I'm done with politics for like ever now. Like I I had to go to other websites too. Like I had to go to Instagram, I had to go to that and just get a feel for what they were offering instead of what was being offered on X. I was on X quite frequently and I kept getting banned. And as time went on, I've started to realize that X itself is it's just one of the worst places in the world to spend your time while you're on the internet. And it just is incredible that people will waste their time and energy on getting mad about something on X. I can go to Threads. I'm perfectly fine on Threads. Threads is fun to use. Instagram, fun to use. But when it comes down to X, X is like one of the worst platforms for anybody to even get addicted to. And and I'm saying that, oh, okay, so you can. So, like, let me give you a hint of what Threads is actually like. So, Threads, okay? And you can just see that and nobody's spying on anybody. Like nobody is actually spying on anybody. Like it's interesting how this is a lot more fun than being on X. You can just see here that this is different. She's pretty. She is a pretty one. But you can see that X, I mean, Threads is a lot less stressful because it's just people showing off their artwork. A lot of it is people showing off their artwork or trying to get in, trying to see where they fit in at. Like there's wrestling stuff over here, which I think is that really Charlotte Flair? I'm gonna follow her. I like her actually. She's pretty awesome. But yeah, it just goes to show you it's very similar to X. It's just people are spending way too much time being mad on X, and that's what the problem is that like everybody that what the heck's that? Hold on.
I love you. You love me. We're best friends like friends should be.
What is this?
With a great big hug and a kiss from
Alright, I'm done.
me to you. Won't you say you love me too?
I did not realize that YouTube actually has a feature where you can just share your screen. I did not realize that. I didn't want to watch this anymore. Whoever made that was just they had a lot of time on their hand. They must have really loved Barney. That's another good looking lady. But yeah, there's a lot of like on X, and that's why I like this better over here. It's a lot less stressful, and people aren't bitching about political nonsense and all that. And you can definitely see where I'm not having a problem with being over here, and you know, just people being people, just people doing their hobbies, enjoying themselves, not bitching and complaining about politics 24/7 or like you don't even see like on X. Like you can definitely see on X when you look at X. Okay, so this is gonna load here, and you're gonna see exactly why. Once this once this pops up, all right, you're gonna see exactly why X is just it's just a mess. All right, hold on a second. Did I shut it down? Yes, I think I did. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and share X again and just kind of show you, just kind of go over a few things as to why like I'm just like tired. All right, so like David Draymond, metal artist. I appreciate his work, but I follow him and he gets very political at times. These two, on the end, are definitely political people. So as soon as I click on it, you'll see what I mean. And it's like you can scroll. He's always talking about some war that's going on with Israel and Gaza or whatever. And it's like people make a living off of this. People make money off of this. And like him, he'll go out of what he's doing and he posts stuff that's like funny sometimes, but it's not all the time. And you know, it's like you just kind of scroll down and you can see that this is a political one. And like over here, okay, this is also political. And then over here, look at all this, and I can guarantee you this is political. Yep, political. All right. So this is where I'm drawing the line right now. I've been doing this for I don't know how long. Excuse me. I got hiccups. And I'm just kind of over all this. It gets old and I'm so sick of seeing it. And what happens is this. It leads people to have a really, really shitty mindset. It leads people to have a shitty mindset and care about stuff that doesn't even actually exist in the real world. Like example, I how do I want to say this? X has created a bunch of people. X had made people, a bunch of people, to be very, very racist towards each other. And then we got literal women asking questions, why am I not pretty and stuff like that. It's like all this is stuff that because you've been online too long, you think that way. And people are not out the streets doing this. People not are not in your backyard doing it. You can walk down to the store, you barely see it going on. But when you look on X and you see it all the time, you're like, oh, it's always going on. You think it's always going on. And that's part of why I had to pull myself out. I've gotten really tired of a lot of stuff relating back to politics. I got tired of not being able to enjoy myself and express myself the way I want to. And I just really wish people would have snapped out of it by now. But it's like, I remember a few weeks ago, there was this one point where I remember somebody who just is always talking about politics on his YouTube channel. He was pretty much like talking about, and I even saw him say it, and a lot of people, and I was even like, all right, so this is dying down, right? We're getting ready to get away from political stuff, right? I was getting all excited. But one of them was just like they said they were tired of talking about it. And I don't blame them. Getting up every day and having your own talk show, and then you're talking about what? Politics every single day. That'll drive any person to want to just quit. That'll drive any person to just want to stop. And what it comes down to is just the fact that people are literally like they're so fixated on just being stuck, thinking that's the only thing they can talk about. And now, granted, people have always people just always they've always been concerned about that kind of stuff. And I remember growing up and how like visible that kind of stuff made my father, because my father was really, really involved in it. I watched my dad. He was like, my dad was a nice guy, but he really just spent his time and energy in doing things like caring about that and really, really giving a fuck about like things he shouldn't have been giving a fuck about. And you know, he just chose to give up on life. Let's just put it that way. And it really, really wanted to show me that at that age and time, I saw that happen. And then later on, like, I found myself really actually enjoying music for what it was. It was a point in time where I was just like, I really, really enjoyed the music scene. I enjoyed it for what it was. I enjoyed for what it was talking about all the time and things as such. And it just went to show me that like I finally had a chance to hear people say they kind of felt the same way as me, but in a manner where they were explaining themselves in an art form. And that's what really made me from the first time want to become a musician and wanted to be in music. And it's like I I s- I was, some of it to me just sounded amazing, and I was like, I want to be able to do this. I want to explain things and feelings in a manner that these people are doing it. So and that's what led me to want to do it the first time. And I'm back to it again where I was like, I have stories to tell now. I have things I've been through. And I have experience in life where I've been through scenarios and I know what certain things feel like and stuff like that. So, and then recently going to the show really, really just a lot of it just made me realize I needed out of politics. And people make a big deal about it every single year during election, and I think the next 3 years we're gonna be okay, and then we'll get back to giving a fuck about who's running for office next. And at that point, I hope I'm doing something a lot better. I hope I'm doing something musically that I really enjoy, or I just hope that I'm not engulfed in having to look at the nonsense and the bullshit that we're seeing online all the time. I was just at church recently today, and the preacher even said when Jesus Christ showed up the first time, he wasn't known to be political. He was not political. In fact, the preacher I just listened to just said that. Jesus was not political. Jesus was there to teach peace, not politics. Jesus was there to teach people how to be better people, not politics. And people get the two mixed up and confused. And so it leads people to genuinely be set in a certain mindset. That's what politics does to you. Okay. That's why you can never see anybody just come directly to the center. If they're in the center, chances are they're ready to run. They're ready to get out of politics, and that's where people need to start being more often. If you're in the center of politics, you are ready to leave politics because you're at the point now where you just don't care about either side anymore because you're tired of the bullshit. You're tired of the bullshit politics has been engulfing and putting inside of our brains. And that's where I'm at right now. I've been at that stage for a while and I've been ready to say fuck all with politics. You know, I remember back in the day when we had a president, we didn't give a fuck about him that much. We didn't give a fuck about the president that much. But what really baffled me is when Eric Kirk got assassinated and the world made a big fucking deal about that. And it's like, yeah, it's sad, but what if I died tomorrow? What if you died tomorrow? Stuff like that. So we gotta stop acting like these political figures are gods or they're like Jesus Christ. We gotta stop acting like that because that right there was where the problem was. And I really wish people would be where I am at it right now. I really wish more people were where I am. And I have a whole community that is where I am, but it's not in the politic. It's not in the political sphere. I've been trying to find my way out, and music was my only success. Drawing and art was another success. And I just I just can't say, I just can't explain how nice it feels to finally be out of that hellfire. So, all right, I think I'm gonna get out of here. I don't know how many people are gonna watch this, but if you guys do watch this back, I want you guys to understand there is no real reason to be getting mad at somebody who doesn't want to be involved in politics anymore. No reason for it at all. If you're at that point where you're getting mad, is not wanting to be involved in it anymore, or somebody is like trying to get away from it. It's because they've seen enough drama within the political sphere that they are ready to leave because they're sick and tired of being separated from each other. I get along with people from either side, but that's because I actually do not care as much as Joe Blow does about stuff. You gotta pull yourself out of it. You gotta pull yourself out of it. And that's all I gotta say. So, all right. And with that said, I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna upload something to my Deathbat Nation channel. But I wanted to make it clear, and I hope I make this final, that no more political nonsense. We care too much about people like Andrew Tate, Donald Trump, just everybody, like people we should not be caring about at all whatsoever. And I do not understand why you people put your energy into people like that. You know, I don't mind Donald Trump. He's our president. I have a lot of respect for him, but at the same time, he's my president. Back in the day, we did not love politics. We we were against politics, and that's what I find weird right now is we're not against politics. We're still bitching, but we're on the side of the politicians right now. That don't make sense. Anyway, all right, I'm out of here.